Welcome to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. A few months ago, when Raila was still alive, William Ruto appointed a panel, or in the simplest term, a committee that was going to oversee the compensation of protest victims as one of the 10 agendas that the ODM was demanding from the government in their broad-based agreement. I remember Ruto appointing the LSK president, Faith Odhiambo, but she resigned due to pressure from Kenyans. But today, the courts have pronounced themselves on the issue, and this is the way to go if we are to rescue this country. Those of you who follow me keenly, you remember I told you that this is going to be a scandal, a very huge scandal, that people have seen an opportunity to swindle public resources in the name of compensating the protest victims. And I even asked, you are compensating protest victims. How much is enough to compensate a family that lost their loved ones? How much is this that can be equated to the life of the young people who were killed by a government that is supposed to protect them? How much is this? If you lose your brother, how much can you be given that can be equated to the life? If you lose your young boy right now, how much can it be enough to compensate that life? I'm just asking. How much? Ni pesa ngapi? I have never, nimejaribu kufanya research, but I have never seen or heard about the amount of money that is equal to human life. I have never. Whether millions or billions. Sijawahi katika dunia hii. Sijawahi sikia kwamba kuna kiwango cha pesa ambacho kinatoshana na uhai wa mwanadamu. So, today, the High Court has powerfully dismissed Ruto's Victims Compensation Panel, and the courts have called for respect for independent commissions. William Ruto the High Court in Kerugoya has ruled that the president had no reason to form an advisory panel on compensation outside of the remit of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, that is KNCHR. Justice Edward Murithi directed that amendments be made to the presidential directive within 30 days or the proclamation be quashed in its entirety. What does this mean to an ordinary Kenyan listening to me? This means that should the government still be keen on ensuring justice for the protest victims, then President Ruto should pursue same within the KNCHR. But however, according to the documents I've received from the Kerugoya court, Justice Murithi pointed out that it is not automatic. It is not automatic that the decision or proclamation will be quashed after the lapse of the 30 days, but he maintained that continued non-compliance with the Constitution would render the Ruto's proclamation invalid. Additionally, the court directed that the report in question be submitted to the KNCHR, which shall undertake the necessary executive actions and allow for any required amendments to bring the process into conformity with the Constitution. The ruling has been given following a petition that was filed by lawyers and human rights activists who challenged Ruto's decision to establish a panel of experts to oversee the compensation of protest victims. You can remember that they were gazetted on the 25th of August, with Ruto directing that the team be led by Makau Mutua. Makau Mutua is William Ruto's Constitutional Affairs Advisor and Human Rights. The panel was to be co-chaired by the Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo, which was formed to implement Ruto's August 8th proclamation, in which he announced a framework to protest victims' compensation. However, you remember, due to pressure from Kenyans, Faith Odhiambo decided to resign after Kenyans went to social media to protest against the decision and calling out Faith Odhiambo on the same issue. So she resigned from the compensation panel, which dealt a blow to the remaining team. But this one is the correct stand. You know, why form a panel to do what those already in office are supposed to do? Like now, you remember William Ruto formed a team of inquiry that was going to study and do investigation about Kenya's public debt. And we asked ourselves, what is the work of the Auditor General? Hiyo ni kazi yake. Anafaa kufanya kazi gani? So there are some things that are formed specifically because people want to eat. I want to thank the Kerugoya Court for standing with the Kenyans. We only wait to see the reaction from those involved. If you're watching this, make sure you click the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell. God bless you. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.